All right, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. And again, we're looking at somebody else's work. We're going to look at a commercial. We are going to try and have a little bit of fun, but we're also going to try and learn something. And what is that, you ask? What are we going to focus on today? It's the fact that you can put curtains and shears anywhere in a commercial. Nobody cares. They make everything look better. And if you don't believe me, try it for yourself. Try and find a commercial that looks halfway decent, where the windows don't have curtains and shears. I defy you. Put it in the comments below if you think you have a link to a commercial that looks halfway decent, and they are either in some sort of like glass corporate environment, maybe glass and like an all glass, I don't know, like a gambling ad or some sort of bank ad, maybe no curtains and shears. Anything else, I defy you to find it, even if it doesn't make any sense, right? Actually, before we get into this breakdown, Patreon is the only reason that these things are possible. There's a Patreon channel or membership group just for the Wandering DP where I put up things that I actually know about, things that can try and get you more jobs. To learn little techniques and tips and tricks along the way, I vomit everything out there that I've ever learned on the job. If you are interested, the link is in the description below. It's the only way I can do any of this stuff for the channel. Okay, let's break it down. We're in a school, and schools, I said I would never break down another school, but here we are. Guess what you want? If you're like part of a team and you are going to be shooting in a school environment, what you don't want is any school that you have ever been to. What school do you want to shoot in? If you are a cinematographer, you want to shoot in Hogwarts, right? You want to be wherever they are training wizards. That's the kind of school that you want. Why? Because there's lots of wood. There's cool things. Like imagine this in your local public high school. Right, this is going to be hot garbage. None of this is cinematography. I mean, there's lighting. Like we got to come up with a fix. And normally you schedule this at nighttime. So we're going to light up all the windows. We're going to have this warm shaft. This is a very easy thing to light and shoot. What's not is the location and the choice of like, okay, well, what's actually going to happen here? First of all, this is a great solution. If you ever see this on a location and you have someone entering a building, double doors, this solves probably the hardest shot in cinematography, which is someone coming in to a building. You get exposure changes between the inside and the outside. If anyone like comes into a shop, and which it happens all the time, normally what you do when someone comes into a building like this and it doesn't have double doors is you'll see that the cinematographer will line up the shot. So we're looking into the open door, right? So you'll be like on an angle over this way. This is the camera looking this way so that you don't have to look directly outside. Why? Because the exposure difference is so great from inside to outside. It's really hard. You have to either light up the inside or you got to net the outside. It's a bit of a nightmare. So double doors immediately solves that because this one can stay closed, which means you can just put up a 12 by 12 out there, blast it with light, and that gives you this background level. So again, something to think about if you're doing schedules and stuff like that. Then it's what makes this just a little bit better than if you just showed up here and like you had a Grip's Choice shot, is you get this little tiny leak here. And what does that get you? It gets you salt and pepper. Salt and pepper is contrast across the frame. You're setting this up as a commercial DP. It's like this thing has already been boarded. The location was probably already found before you. You can offer up little tips and tricks. But when you're actually on set on the day, you've already told your team, okay, we need a light up through that window, and then I want a couple of shafts here. Shafts through these two things, and I want the light to sort of hit here. You're not talking about the fixture, the size of it. Maybe you're involved in, well, do we need a cherry picker? Are we going to do it from the ground with stands? Maybe you're involved in that. But the rest of the time on the day, you show up and you're like sitting at the dolly. You're like, how can we make this just a little bit better? Or where is it a little bit crap? And what would be good is probably when you set it up first, right? Like this is the frame. You're like, oh, okay, but it's real dark over here. Do we put like a prac here? And then you realize, wait a second. There's this wall here. What if we just back up? Or what if we go up one lens? Is that going to be interesting? You go, yeah, it will be. Oh, that's a big pull, actually. Probably should have done that pull before I also like this. Like, what don't you want to do? You don't want to light up the whole thing. What do you want to do? Like, make it a little bit messy, right? I know there's some sort of Japanese term for that. Like, make the shot perfect and then like sprinkle in a little bit of mess. Like, it shouldn't be like that. And this is me. This is definitely me. Like looking at you guys like, oh, what are you? Come on. In the corner of the room, dark side, this is bread and butter stuff here. We don't have to do that. What I will say is here, okay? They're in a school and there's curtains and shears on the window. And the production design and art department, they will, I know this for a fact because they do it to me every job. They will poo-poo this idea through and through. They're going to be like, what? There's curtains and shears? Again, if you're at a school, with curtains and shears, you are definitely studying some sort of wizardry. I will give you that. I grant that. It looks nicer. And what are we doing? What are we doing if not to make this thing look as cool as possible? And do we haze the living crap out of that thing? Yes, we do. Why don't we? That's my smile as well. These guys are having good times. And we're in the shower. There's one more I wanted to talk about in here. Shears, curtains, bang. I like that over there. All right, that's interesting. Always do that everywhere that you can. And no, it's right. Oh, we're going to come back and talk about that in a second. Where's the wide of the room? Here. Okay, this is a good thing to keep in the back of your mind anytime you're doing any daytime interior and you want to make it cool, which means you're going to bring in big lights from the outside. You have two choices in this scenario. Do you want to backlight the people? Or, just imagine instead of a line of people, this could be anything. This could be two people talking. It could be two people sitting at a table, like in a restaurant or anything. You got one real big decision. Do you want to backlight the people, or do you want to throw some amount of interest in the background? I would say just erring on the side of, I want to create as much interest and I want to give myself as much depth with one light or one, I say one light, but it's probably, you could do this with multiple lights, right? Outside each window. The big decision is, do we go light this way towards this wall, or do we light this way towards the inside? What you don't get when you light towards the camera is you don't get any interest in the background. You might get backlit people, right? But you don't get any interest on the walls. And I would always say, let's go walls, because we can do, again, if this is a conversation between, let's say, this person and this person, we can always fake those backlights when we come in for the coverage. But for the big wide shot, I want interest everywhere else, because that's the hardest thing to create. Here, if we place the lights this way, so outside behind this one, we have one coming in here. Outside this one, we have one coming in here. This is going to be flat. And that's a huge part of your image, right? Even if you take this and cut it way, way down, it's still a big part of the image is this big blank wall over here. So I'm always looking for what's the easiest way to get interest in an area that is very hard to get interest in. And so the slash is the easiest way to do it. And that's the choice that you make. That's the trade-off. So I would say here, wide, makes sense. Going closer, doesn't make sense. I also like this. Can we just throw just a little something in the frame? Anytime you think oh, the shot's ready to go, just be like, ooh, is there anything we could add in here that would make it slightly better? You go, yeah, there is. Oops. Bang. That's a nice shot, right? Got a little soft hob on the lady back here. This guy's wincing. Nice little 4x frame just there with some level. I don't know. That's a beautiful shot. Let's come back to this one. This is what I wanted to do, because this will help you with scheduling. Let's just imagine that this hasn't been shot and we're just seeing the boards. We've got an outside car park shot. And then we need to get we got two shots in the sequence. We need to get this shot too. And the first AD turns to you and goes, okay, we're going to be in the parking lot. What time do you want to be here? And what order do you want to shoot? It's normally you would do the wide and then you would do the close up. That's how, or, you move in on any film set. Except if you're doing, let's just imagine that this is, what are we going to say? We'll say this is sunrise, right? Let's just say it's sunrise. Could be sunset. Doesn't matter. You do the closer things first. Why? Because you can manipulate this level a lot easier than you can fake this level, especially for running time on schedule on the day, which means, if you go over here and you need sunset in the background for this shot, nightmare, right? So if this is morning shot, I'd say let's start with the close stuff. Let's start with the close when the level in the sky is way, way down. We can find some way to mask it. If you wanted to get rid of this sky, right? If you didn't like that it was this dark compared to the next shot, all you have to do is come up, right? And then as the camera booms up, you start to lose more and more of that sky. You get to get more of this background, and then maybe we can shine a light into the background. It's just you're compressing the space. So schedule for the wide. Schedule for whatever look you want from the wide, and then work backwards for all of this. Because it's so tight, you can fix it all quite easily. And again, it's does this match? Go back. Does this match that? No, it doesn't match that. Does anybody care? Nobody cares. So just do the best that you can. But here, still, it's a good angle, right? It's like we always talk about. What do you want? I want this thing to take up the maximum number of pixels on the sensor as possible, whatever the subject is. How do we do that? Well, if we crab left, this moves further and further and further over, right? And so this whole car takes up less pixels. Why? Because we start just looking right towards the back. So you can imagine what the frame would be. If this is the frame, if we're just looking at the back of the car, right? Tire, that's a horrible car. But we're looking that way. It takes up less than if we're looking at the car where we can see 3, almost 4 of the tires, right? Just imagine if you go that way, you lose a tire. So take up the maximum number of pixels. That's how you do, and the same with everything, really. This block here, whatever the key thing is, we want to make that as big as possible. And that's how you do it. Pretty simple. Anything else we want to talk about here? Not really. It's like, shoot on the dark side, haze it up, and make it halfway interesting on the wall. That's all you got to do. It's not that complicated. Somebody out there's doing it. Why not you? Okay, that's going to do it for this one. Many thanks. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.